Good evening. This is McKenna Coppachee alongside Logan Mans here for the men's basketball, the Ravens against the Colby Trojans. This will be quite a close one as Colby, the losses they have had have been about 1-2 deficit games, so this will be quite an exciting one.
Yeah, both teams can really get up and down the court and score a lot of points. And Coffeyville has been on a 9-game winning streak and really have been playing some good basketball. And that comes when you win 9 games in a row. But they played some close ones and they played some games where they blow out the teams. But ain't no rule. And let's see if Coach Herkelman's team can keep them on this roll and maybe get to 10 wins straight.
Absolutely. And
starting lineups tonight, we'd like to take a minute and honor all of those who have been affected by breast cancer, either personally, by family, or by friends.
And excuse us for a moment of silence.
Thank you. And now for our starting lineups. For the visiting Colby Trojans.
And now for the starting lineups for the Colby Trojans. Xavier Smith from Kansas City, Kansas. From Bucharest, Ohio, David Hall. From Chicago, Illinois, Craig Boydon, number 3. From Manhattan, Kansas, number 13, Christian Carmichael. And from Houston, Texas, number 31, Ty Dalton.
Houston, Texas, number 31, Ty Dalton. Head coach for the Trojans, Rusty Groffel. Assistant coach, Ethan Groffel and James.
And for the Red Ravens, number 2, from Clarksville, Arkansas, Casey Benton. Number 3, TJ Washington from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Number 11, from Theodore, Alabama, Joshua Hill. And number 22, Keon Queen from Hyattsville, Minnesota.
Sophomore from Theodore, Alabama, number 11, Joshua Hill. And a 6'9" freshman from Hyattsville, Maryland, number 22, Keon Queen. Head coach for the Red Ravens, Jay Herkelman. Assistant coaches, Kyle Fisher and Justin Tabor.
And Jay Herkelman, in his 23rd year, over 595 victories. And one thing Jay Herkelman is so good at is staying consistent. In his last 3 games, same lineup, and rarely has mixed up a whole ton as they come to the floor. And one thing that was so profitable for the Red Ravens at Neosho, 33 points off the bench. And one guy to look for the target here tonight, Marvin Johnson. He's on a roll. 28 points in his last game. After that, Seward, 19 points. At Pratt, or home here, he had 31 points. And then 21 points versus Cloud. So a guy to look for, number 4, Marvin Johnson. Second leading scorer on the Red Ravens next to Travis Washington. And for Cloud, you're going to look out for David Hall. 21 points, does most of his damage at the free throw line. He went to the free throw line 13 times, got 11 of them, and he averages 15 points per game. So that's one guy to target for Colby as we get started with a possession, and Colby gets the first points.
You have a nice passing game with Washington. And Queen unable to put it in.
And one thing, Coffeyville is going to go at Colby's size, as don't have the biggest team. Tallest player, 7'1", Moses Bull, but not in the starting lineup here tonight. And I believe the tallest one on the court here thus far is 6'6", Christian Carmichael. So what did Herkelman do? Go right at Keon Queen. Tallest player on the floor thus far. And he got one of the two.
And Carmichael unable to make the basket. And that is on the Trojans. Casey Benton working it inside. Unable to make a connection.
And that's good defense from the Red Ravens. Able to get back, stop the fast break. Not allow the smaller Cloud to get in, Colby to get in transition.
And TJ Washington moving down the court efficiently. And Joshua Hill able to put it in.
And that's what makes a point guard so good. A no-look pass. It throws the defense off. No one can read the eyes. There's Marvin Johnson. He read the eyes of the defense. And oh! The rim is not going to like that.
What a great play by Johnson. Definitely a playmaker for this Ravens team.
And one thing Colby has to do against the 15th ranked in the nation Red Ravens, take care of the ball, and they didn't right there as the press was too much to handle, and they're going to have to be consistent with the ball to beat a good team like the Red Ravens. And Marvin Johnson showing his athleticism and scoring ability here thus far. Already 4 points to start this evening.
And Dalton puts one in for the Trojans. Good defense by the Trojans. And just off the rim by Johnson. Great offensive rebound. You have Washington now trying to move it inside. Almost a turnover. Hill gets it back. TJ gets it back in. It is back in the hands of the Trojans. And that was almost a turnover. Johnson tries to put it in, is unable. the Trojans working down the court at a great pace, and they're able to put one in. It's back in the hands of TJ Washington. TJ trying to work his way inside, results in a turnover, and that is Dalton with the basket.
And this is how you want to play if you're Colby to win this game, is Coffeyville turns over the ball about 16 times per game, and you want to get them out of their rhythm in offense, and one thing to do is turn them over as Keon Queen is battling there under the basket, finally rolls in.
Great effort by Queen right there. See Dalton, see what his options are, trying to work it inside, and that is, look like a jump ball.
And Colby comes in here just behind Hutchinson, 13-8 in the conference, and they have a 17-8 overall. So a top 5 team in the conference coming in here, and they're no one to take lightly. And Coffeyville has definitely got to realize that, and this is going to be a good game.
And
number 11, Joshua Hill, his first team foul for the Ravens. In the game for the Ravens, number 21, Cedric Rowland.
you have a substitution for the Ravens. Hill out for Rowland. Dalton trying to work his way inside. Great defense by the Ravens. And in and out by Hall.
What a great possession on defense for the Red Ravens. Trying to do it on the offensive end, but didn't allow Colby to get any space to get a shot off. And you saw right there at the end of it, he pump faked and tried to go into the defender of Coffeyville and didn't bite on it. And a tough shot, but a good defense by the Red Ravens on that possession, and got to keep it up. 14:28 left, and Coffeyville has a 1-point advantage.
And Benton answers for his team.
Casey Benton really used his Euro step that he uses often in his 6'3" frame to score over a smaller Colby defender. So the first sub for Colby, Decory Somerville, 6'4" freshman out of Swansboro, Georgia. And Herkelman will go to his bench, and he put in Quan Marshall. Oh, good spin move, just couldn't finish at the rim. He was looking for a foul, but that was pretty good defense by Coffeyville, and Ty Dalton couldn't get it to go.
And Rowland with the long shot, and he does not make it. Excuse me, with the attempt of a long shot. And Marshall with the basket.
And that play all started with Quan Marshall's ball fake. Shot fake and then went to the basket. Got some contact, but nevertheless a good floater by Marshall to put it home.
And just so close right there. Good effort by the Ravens, excuse me.
And a nice charge by Gabriel Graffi to lay his body on the line. The 6'6" sophomore to Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Came a long way to take that charge, and Quan Marshall just a little bit out of control.
And just short of the basket, that was Craig Boydion. Kid's got skill. Just unable to.
Yeah, and Griffey will get the over the back call. And we'll see the first action of Anthony Jones. And we'll see William Jefferson check in for Coffeyville on a long three. Oh,
great shot by Jones. He is quite the playmaker for the Ravens as well, as we have talked about Johnson. Jones is another name you need to keep your ears open, eyes open. And Dalton, it hits the rim. Anthony Jones driving down the court. Defense all over Rowland.
And that was good defense by Graffi on Cedric Rowland. So he's going to try and use his dominance inside. And Somerville will collect that foul on Anthony Jones. And we'll see Travis Washington check in at point guard. And it looks like Erkelman's going to go with their two-guard set with Quan Marshall and Travis Washington running the show for the Red Ravens.
Nice pass by Washington to Rowland. Good offensive rebound.
And man, did Cedric Rowland use his toughness on that play.
He
just kept fighting for the ball and then found it the final last time and collected the contact. And now he'll have a shot at 2 free throws at the line.
He does not make the first, but he does make the second.
And that's where Rowland has got to live, in the paint. He weighs just about as much as anyone on this court, 225 and 6'7". And good defense by Quan Marshall. Right up in the grill of Ty Dalton and pressured him just enough to throw it away to a Colby offensive player that was just never there.
And Jones with the long shot, he does make it.
And you can tell Coffeyville is just in a rhythm on his offense, getting the defensive stops. Colby hasn't scored in quite a while.
And Dalton uses that open space, tries to get it in, is not able.
A late whistle and kind of a late help defense by Cedric Rowland. It could almost have been a 50-50 call, as a little bit of contact, but refs just saw enough to call a foul. I guess the bank was open on that one.
And Dalton does make the free throw. With 9 minutes left, 20-10, Ravens on top. And Cedric Rowland to Jefferson. A great connection, is able to make the basket.
Nice post feed to catch it in the middle of the block. Look for his offensive player, William Jefferson, under the basket for an easy score. Coffeyville up big, 22-10. And I believe the under 10 time media timeout, so gives each team to think over. And Colby needs a lot of help on the offensive end, as the defense of Coffeyville has really been great here tonight, and their offense has done a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just such a back and forth, back and forth. You know, it's, you gotta love these kinds of games. And we'll have to see if the Trojans can do something differently to be able to pull out. They are at about a 12-point deficit right now. The last time these two teams met was December 10th, and Coffeyville did lose. It was 77-73, so very close and tight game. We'll have to see if the outcome of this game is a close one as well.
Yeah, one thing Colby has done is played the top teams in the league pretty close on occasions, as they played Hutch pretty close, lost that one 67-62, and lost at Barton in overtime. I believe it was double overtime, and they came away with the loss, but it was a very tight contested game. And now a quick three from Marshall.
Jones looking for his options. Cedric Rowland in and out. Dalton tries to work inside. Is not successful.
One thing Coffeyville has done, brought the double teams, and especially on their best player, or who averages the most, David Hall, as they brought the double team really quick on that possession, and that kind of allowed for Ty Dalton to have a little bit of a lane and get to the free throw line. So the last 4 points from Colby has been from the free throw line.
Well, Well, it's like what you said earlier in the women's game, Logan, is that you don't want to rely on just free throws. You want to be able to make the baskets when, you know, it's right there for you to take. Because at the end of the game, it's not just gonna come down to the number of free throws or fouls. You know, it comes down to turnovers and being able to execute when needed.
Yeah, they gotta, like you said, execute on the offensive end and make shots. But when you can get Coffeyville in foul trouble, that can always benefit Colby if they want to come away with the win. And Quan Marshall has been effective here tonight, getting to the rim. He's been out of control on occasions, but has definitely attacked the basket.
And Washington over to Webster, and Webster nails it.
And I don't think we've talked about how unselfish Travis Washington has been in these last 9 games. They've come away with the win in the last game in Neosho at 6 assists. His points per game have kind of dwindled, but he's definitely passed the ball and got his teammates more involved. Still at 13 points at Neosho, but he's one of the guys that led the charge in this 9-game winning streak for Coach Herkelman's team. And that's put him at 15th in the nation. And Colby coming in here struggling, but still trying to knock off the team Coffeyville at 2nd in the conference.
Well, and, you know, what we've seen so far tonight is, you know, the Ravens have, offensively, they've been really successful. You haven't seen, you know, a lot of turnovers, which typically, I mean, you don't, it's kind of a you want to see and you kind of don't want to see, depending on the rhythm of the game. And this rhythm has definitely been quite fast-paced and a lot of back and forth. So we'll just have to see. And Dalton just keeps trying to work his way inside. Great swat there by Johnson. No?
That's goaltending by Keon Queen.
Yeah, Queen.
But you can see how effective Ty Dolan is with those shot fakes. He had 2 on that same dribble drive, and he got both the defenders in the air, and then finally scored at the end with the goaltend by Keon Queen. So Ty Dolan doing some damage on the offensive end. And offensive rebounds couldn't fall for the Red Ravens. And I believe that's going to be a foul on David Hall.
And that'll send Johnson to the line.
And like I said, Colby kind of struggles on the size department as Keon Queen has just done some damage under the paint. Got 2 or 3 offensive rebounds just on that same possession. And then finally found himself at the free throw line. But you could just think how much damage he could be doing if he could just put those layups home when he gets the offensive rebound. Been struggling on that side of the ball.
Dalton exploring his options. And Somerville, that's in and out. Great offensive rebound, still not able to get a basket.
Good job by Somerville. Most players would get their own rebound like that and take another three, but he wanted to explore other options and got himself to the hoop and collected the body contact from A.J. Webster, the 6'8 freshman out of Shawnee, Kansas. And they got to climb back in this game, so anything could help. And the offensive end, they've struggled shooting the ball, so got to get to the free throw line and make their charity strike free throws.
Great connected passes by the Ravens. And turnover.
Throwing it up. Oh, with the one hand, couldn't go down. And Keon Queen again getting offensive rebounds.
To get it in, but finally does it. And he is proud of it too.
And you can tell Keon Queen just frustrated. He cannot get those putbacks to go, and finally kind of relieved to maybe get an old-fashioned three-point play at the charity strike.
You got Somerville. Looks like a lot of open space by the Ravens defense.
And right there, a mismatch. Somerville on Keon Queen. So a nice job by Somerville to take it at him, draw the foul, and that's only the first on Keon Queen.
Great steal by Benton, and Washington puts it in. Great defense, another steal, TJ Washington, and is pushed out of bounds.
And you can just see the frustration of David Hall, the leading scorer for the Trojans, as on that inbounds play just a while ago, couldn't get the ball to him as he was just out of his reach, and then he came down, dribbled, Coffeyville double-teamed him again, and he turned it over. So he's definitely had some frustration in this first half.
He really has. You know, it's about 5 minutes left in this first half, and there's about a 16-point deficit right here. The Trojans really going to have to do something to turn this around.
Back in number 20, Gabriel Jimpy.
And Washington nails both.
Washington.
Great defense by the Ravens. Oh, and the crowd, the Coffeyville crowd is not liking this call right here.
Yeah, and a kind of bailout call from Drew Young. He did a nice pump fake, got into the middle of the lane, but he was triple teamed, decided to go up with it, got it blocked. Must have been some contact from the Red Raven defense, but he got himself in a bad spot. And we'll see Joshua Hill check in for A.J. Webster.
Benton back to Washington. And it is a turnover. Oh, my goodness. And Dalton just nails that basket. If only it counted.
And I know Travis Washington will probably get credit for that turnover, but it was a good pass to Keon Queen, and Keon Queen should have caught that, but just mishandled it. And a tough one for the Red Ravens. Let's see if they can bounce back.
And Washington with the long shot.
So Travis Washington kind of making up for that turnover.
Almost lost contact of the ball right there by Dion. And Smith puts one in for the Trojans.
That was David Holland.
Oh, excuse me, Holland.
That's only his first or second shot of the ball game. Not really been too involved into the offense, and when he has, it's been turned it over as Coffeyville has really done a number on him. Stripped and a run out for Colby.
You really saw that frustration on Washington's face. No, he'll make up for it, though. Oh, my goodness, full of turnovers. That's what, 3 in a couple seconds right there. Great defense. And Washington picks it up. Great pass.
Oh. Great defense by Keon Queen. That's defense you really can't teach.
It's really not.
Good hustle play by him to recover on the turnover and then get his feet set, go up straight. And like the hustle on the defensive end, but Coach Herkelman does not like these turnovers in the last 30 seconds as they've gotten sloppy on the offensive end. And Coffeyville still clinging to a 12-point lead as Colby just can't find an answer to all these turnovers and got to put it through the hoop, especially if you want to beat Coffeyville, a top team in this conference.
Exactly, I agree with that. And they, the Trojans have shown a little bit, some of their plays have been a little bit promising, so we'll just have to see if they can continue that. And Washington. And now when the hands of Benton. Oh, that was some nice teamwork right there. Unfortunately, did not result in a basket. But great teamwork by Washington and Marshall.
And Hergelman probably drew that up in the timeout. And nice job by Colby to get a three-pointer to go. And now it's a 9-point lead for Coffeyville. They got to figure out something on the offensive end. As Colby, the Trojans, could climb back in this game.
Absolutely. And the Ravens answer.
And as I say that, Marvin Johnson kind of quiets me at least and says, Trojans are not going to have the run. I'm going to answer that basket.
Oh, and that's a lot of open space. It does result in a basket that was and a lot of physical contact right there by Queen. And
can't do that.
Go whiny.
Keon Queen came down and wrapped up the defensive player. And that's a big no-no as luckily he didn't get hit with a flagrant foul or something along that nature. But that's his second foul, so he'll have to head to the bench.
Well, and you talk about that incident just right then. It's like, what if one of your players, fouls out? Then what? Because you still have a whole second half, and he is quite the playmaker for the Ravens, so he needs to be careful because that could really change the tone of this game.
But I've liked the hustle from Keon Queen, getting the offensive rebounds, putting it back up, even though he struggled on making them. Defensive pressure has been there. Just committing some sloppy fouls on, and you'll have to sit till the second half.
Washington trying to work his way inside. Gives it over to Johnson. About 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Ravens on top, 38-28. The Trojans have cut this deficit down immensely. Braedion coming up half court. That's Carmichael. His attempt at a basket does not work, and TJ Washington looking for a foul right there. Does not get it. Great defense right there by Benton. And, attempt at a dunk is not able to. Great defense by Colby. That was Bull. Just made sure that Benton wouldn't get that dunk, although it does result in a foul, so Benton will be at the line.
Yeah, he went right at the 7-footer Moses Bull, freshman from Wasuda. I'm going to look up that where it's exactly at the map.
And Benton makes the first one. As he does with the second one.
So I think they made a mistake on the roster. I think it's Sudan, as they got a S-U-D-A. I think they forgot the N, so I think he's for Sudan. I could be wrong, as there's so many countries in the world like Texas.
Sure are.
Inside.
And Braedion with the basket. Benton searching for his options. Oh, and that looked tipped by Hall to Joshua Hill. And a timeout is called.
So Herkelman's going to use his use it or lose it timeout with 1:07 left and up by 10, and he looks a little displeased with his Red Ravens as Colby kind of not keeping themselves in this game.
Well, and they're just trying to find their rhythm is really what it is. They just haven't found it yet. You know, it was about a 16-point deficit, and now it's 40-30, so that deficit has gotten bigger once again. Minute 7 left in this first half. And you have Marshall in possession.
5 on the shot clock.
Great moves right there by Johnson, and he nails another one. Braedion, excuse me.
I like the out of the timeout play. Give it to Marvin Johnson, one of your quickest scoring guards, and let him go to the hoop. And he scored right there. But I like the out of timeout play from Jay Herkelman.
And great offensive rebound right there by the Trojans. Still not able to put it in. And 16 seconds left in this first half. Dalton hands over to Hall. And turnover.
What a hustle play by William Jefferson to keep the play alive and let Coffeyville come down with the late
and
shot.
Casey Benton almost had it. And for the first half, it is the Ravens 42, the Trojans 30. We will be back after halftime. And welcome back to the second half. The Ravens against the Trojans. Men's basketball, it is 42-30. And we will see if the Trojans can get a rhythm going and get this deficit down.
Yeah, and Coffeyville just doing a number on the rebounds. Out-rebounded Colby 23-18. And most of those have been offensive rebounds. And Coffeyville's got 17 points off turnovers. So the turnovers from Colby are mounting up. We got 11 in the total game this far. And Coffeyville, his bench is coming to play. They got 13 points off their bench. So Coffeyville using their depth as Colby doesn't really have much depth. They rely on their starting five to score most of their points. And Coffeyville has held the leading scorer for Colby to 3 points. It's David Hall. As Craig Bidion has 9 points. And Ty Dalton has 10 for Colby. And leading the way for Coffeyville, Marvin Johnson has 9. And Travis Washington has 7. Keon Queen also has 7 with 6 offensive rebounds. And Travis Washington picks up his first personal to start this ball game. Nice feed to Hall, and he starts out with a quick 2 points, and maybe he can get up to his average as he's up 5. He needs 15 to get to his average. Just starting the second half.
And Benton over to Johnson is not able to get it in.
He'll have 2 free throws at the line. His first 2 free throws attempt of the game. And he gets none of them to go. So an empty possession for Coffeyville. Colby's come out to a hot start with David Hall with a layup to cut it to a 10-point lead.
And almost lost the ball there, and he actually did. And that is Casey Benton with that speed and agility. And Johnson is able to get it.
Yeah, over and back violation. Casey Benton threw a sloppy turnover, just a no one. And we saw that with Ty Dolan. He dribbled in, threw it behind him, and there was no one there, and he just went out of bounds. And Casey Benton did the same thing right there.
Dalton trying to work his way inside, and he does get a basket. Washington coming down half court.
And Ty Dalton's got a quiet 12 points. Doesn't seem like he has 12 points, but got him on the stat sheet.
And long shot for Hill, and he does make it.
Not a three-point shooter to any imagination. And that might have been his first three-pointer as a Red Raven. And nice bounce back from Colby. That is Christian Carmichael. Carmichael's first basket. There's a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play, and here comes Cedric as Keon Queen quickly picks up his third foul. Had to sit the bench with about 4 minutes remaining in the first half because he had 2 fouls, and then just 2 minutes into this picks up his third.
Benton making his way down. Great defense by Colby. And Johnson, unable, hits the rim. Inside rim.
Again.
And Washington, nice move right there, and he does put one in for the Ravens.
But offensive rebounding for the Red Ravens, giving them extra possessions to score. And Colby's got to target that. If they want to win, they need to stop giving up rebounds and offensive rebounds. And there's Ty Dalton taking it upon himself to do the scoring for the Trojans.
And Dalton makes the first, but not the second. Nice pass right there.
Fans wanted to travel, didn't get it. And here's Marvin Johnson for three. He got it.
He nails it yet again.
Johnson's got 12.
Great effort right there, but unable. That was
nice job by
Carmichael.
Joshua Hill to take the charge, and that was a lot of contact and a hard fall from Joshua Hill, but nevertheless a turnover, and that's the third foul on Xavier Smith.
And Benton nails it.
Nice speed from Joshua Hill as he backed down his defender and then had the awareness to look out and found his man, Casey Benton, squared up to shoot that ball and a quick release and a nice sink and a three-pointer.
And Colby could not tip it in. Goes in the hands. And back into Colby. And they do dunk. That was Carmichael. And Rowland worked his way inside.
Good job by Cedric Rowland to do his work early. He got right at the block, had good position. And one thing as a big fella you have to do is do your work early, get yourself in good position to score. And all you had to do is really turn around and sink the over the hook.
And that's a foul on Benton. So that'll bring Carmichael to the line.
So Anthony Jones, we saw him in the first half knocking down some three-pointers as he had two. And finally gets in the second half for Casey Benton, who picked up that foul on Carmichael. And Carmichael just narrowly sinks the second. Carmichael's got 5 points. He had 0 in the first half.
And Jones working his way. Ooh, Washington had great position just off the rim.
Good extra pass from Anthony Jones as he thought about the three, but had a better look from Travis Washington, just off on the three-pointer. Nice cut to the basket. And Somerville picks up the layup.
And Hill unable to make the basket. Great defense by Colby. You see their defense is really stepped up.
One thing I'm impressed about Jay Herkelman's big guys there. Always capable passers, as saw Joshua Hill find his man, Casey Benton, open from three. This time, Cedric Rowland was in there and found Joshua Hill cutting to the basket, just couldn't finish the layup.
Yes, connections on passes, that's great. Ravens have really been able to do that efficiently. And Johnson, that will be a foul on Carmichael. Oh, excuse me, on Smith. That'll bring Jones to the line.
And that's
excuse me, no.
And that's 4 fouls on Xavier Smith.
And just off the rim by Johnson.
And they're saying William Jefferson pushed off to get that offensive rebound.
And this crowd does not really agree with that call. As I don't either, but Bradion hands it off to Eagle. Back to Bradion. And Dalton, see if he can work his magic here as he has scored 12 points.
Wanted the ball underneath was Eagle. Found Somerville and he put it home.
Now this is a Colby team playing. This second half, this is them playing. So have cut the deficit now 54-45 with 13 minutes remaining. If Colby can just offensively execute how they have been these past couple minutes, I see them potentially taking a lead here. They're now not just making it from, making threes, but they're really able to make baskets.
Yeah, they've only cut it down to 9 points once this far, and that was in the first half. And now it's under double digits with 21 left.
And Jones hands off to Washington. Washington scanning his options. Hands it back off to Jones. Jones working his way inside. Is cut down by this Colby defense.
And right there, DeCorey Somerville, he was playing good defense until he reached in there at the very end. And they got him with the third foul. And if he would have just stuck with Anthony Jones and cut him off, I think it would have been perfectly fine, but he used that left hand to reach in there. And One thing about Anthony Jones, he takes his time shooting his free throw.
In and out. He does nail the first one. And Dalton working his way inside. Great defense by the Ravens and offensive rebound. And it is in. That was Somerville for the Trojans.
That's good. Quintavious Eagle.
Oh, excuse me, Eagle.
With the offensive rebound. And haven't seen that much from Colby, but Eagle is a lengthy guy and needs to attack the boards more often on the offensive end.
Roland.
Oh,
off the backboard.
and Roland with the arsenal of post moves. Turn around to his left side and got hit on the arm and has a chance to bring it back to double digits at 10-point lead.
Roland nails both.
Cedric Roland, 9 points.
And great offensive rebound. Oh, almost a turnover right there. A lot of contact.
And Coffeyville with a little bit of a smaller lineup with William Jefferson and Roland in there as the forwards. Herkelman want to change and want to get Queen to clean up the defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds.
Dalton shoots from long. It is short, but offensive rebound, and that is Guamafi who makes that. Washington attempts a long shot, does not make it. Dalton moving down court efficiently and does not make it either. Dalton looking for a foul.
Juan Marshall will check in for Marvin Johnson as Anthony Jones picked up that foul. That foul is on the floor, so no free throws. Off the back of Keon Queen, what a heads-up play by Dalton.
And Queen is in a confused stance for a minute.
Dalton's got 15 to lead Colby to a 6-point deficit, and as Coffeyville trying to respond.
Marshall does not make the shot. Boydian picks up the speed right here. Great defense by the Ravens. Dalton. And back to Boydian. Boydian, and oh, he nails it. Oh, and looks like
might be a technical.
Looks like that.
So yeah, Travis Washington will shoot the technical free throws. And Colby really hasn't had much of a run in this game, and we're seeing it just now as got it to within 3, and we'll see how this technical and how they respond to it.
And Washington nails every shot. And coach and ref are talking. Coach does not agree with that call.
Yeah, an awkward kind of technical as Coach Graffel in his 6th year not too happy. And Somerville looked like he was running away from the play, or his team made the basket, so you're thinking he'd be happy and not. Usually when you make a technical foul, you're frustrated about something, and just kind of an awkward situation we had there.
And Jones using his agility, and he puts another one in for the Ravens. And Boydian. And coach for the Trojans is just looks like he kind of having a little meltdown over here. The ref had to tell him to calm down for a minute. He is still not happy about that call, that technical, when Boydian made that shot.
It's kind of interesting how they gave the coach a warning, but didn't give the player a warning. You think you would have gave Somerville a warning?
Yeah, you think it'd be opposite. Maybe, player taking after coach, right?
Inside.
And that was almost a turnover. Washington takes over. Nice pass to Jones, and Jones nails it.
Anthony Jones, 10 points off the bench, and Coffeyville would have been struggling making shots, and he's coming off the bench in the second half and kind of give him an extra boost to keep Colby at bay.
That was a nice move right there.
Good defense by William Jefferson, and the slick moves from Travis Washington.
And Washington. And he is enjoying that, wants that love from the crowd, and he is getting it. Oh, and what is this?
Again, a technical when they didn't issue a warning.
Oh, now Coach Herkelman's going to feel the same way the Trojans coach just felt.
So immediate timeout.
Well, Logan, what do you think about that?
I just think it's interesting how these officials have been calling the technicals. So they gave Somerville a technical, and then the coach was John at the ref, and then he gave the coach Graffiel, he gave him a warning. And then Travis Washington turned around and said something. It didn't seem like he said a lot after he scored that, but so they gave him a technical for that.
You see, Curry or James or Durant, you see these guys, you're like, yeah, they're all excited, That's just
but
when you do something so good.
You don't know what he said, though, so.
It didn't look like anything bad.
You don't know that, so. But anyways. So what the refs and I'm not a ref, obviously. I'm just speculating what they should have done. They should have gave Somerville a warning. And then right there gave Travis Washington a warning, and then that would have settled the air between both the teams. And then obviously if they do it again, they give a technical. You can't just give someone a technical and then give someone a warning right after that. Usually the warning comes before the technical.
Yeah, I think these refs might be a little bit confused. All right, 8 minutes, about 8:50 left in the second half. 66-56, the Trojans have definitely answered to the Ravens in this second half. Stepped up their game.
After the last play, we had a technical foul assessed against number 3, TJ Washington.
So here comes David Hall at the free throw line, and a guy that's struggled here thus far. Again, one of the leaders for the Trojans, only 5 points, make it 6 after that free throw. And you can see why Coach Graffiel wants him at the line to maybe see the ball go through the basket and maybe give him a little bit more confidence in the game. So we want 1 for 2, and they get the ball back.
And Whitehan coming down the court. Dalton working his way around. Nice pass. And that's another one for Hall. Great pass by Washington. Good connection with the Ravens offense. And Marshall for another one.
Juan Marshall, first point of the second half. Got 4 points. Inside and a foul as Coach Herkelman was looking for the jump ball.
And he is definitely showing that too on the sideline. You could see the excitement right there.
So to clean up a little wet spot. That last foul went against William Jefferson in a 1-and-1 situation. So off on the 1-and-1 from Quintavious Eagle.
Marshall trying to figure out some type of rhythm right here. And Anthony Jones over to Roland. And Roland with the attempt of the shot does not make it. And Dalton unable to connect. Great offensive rebound, and that was quite the shuffle right there. And Keon is looking for a foul. Does not see anything.
But back again, Coffeyville in the second half, struggling on the defensive boards. And it's cost him, and that's the 4th foul on Keon Queen, and he's got to be careful. And these free throws are crucial for Colby, and down by 9, they got to have every point at the charity strike they can get. Finally gets the second.
Marshall works his way inside, and Joshua Hill with the basket.
Joshua Hill right there at the right spot to clean it up.
And Dalton not able to put it in. Ball is out.
Again, rebounding just on each end. You saw Joshua Hill put it back on offensive rebound right here. Coffeyville just struggling. And they tried the same play. And it doesn't work this time, but Ty Dalton keeps doing that off the back play, and he gets the ball back and tries to go up with it, and that time a little bit tougher, but still got the ball in. Coffeyville's got to stop turning their back on the inbounds play.
Jones with the 3 off the rim. Boydion for the Trojans coming down court.
Oh!
And that. Oh. There you go, yes.
And good job by the baseline ref because he had the angle to
really
see that
did.
ball go off the Colby defender. So good job by him to go reinsure whose ball it was.
Queen to Marshall. Marshall working inside. And it is not in. Dalton. And tipped in by Hall. Hall.
I think that was Gabriel Griffey. He got the tip in. He's got 6 points, and Coffeyville still struggling on the defensive rebounds. And I think both teams have really just struggled on the rebounds, period. And 5:32 left, and Colby down by 8. They made a little run at it about 10 minutes in the second quarter. And then Somerville picked up a technical foul, and it kind of went downhill after that. And then Travis Washington went streaking down the court, made a layup, and then he got a technical foul. And then we're sitting right now at an 8-point ball game. Coffeyville has got the lead. But as we mentioned to start this game, Coffeyville second place behind Barton in the KJCCC standings. In conference, they're 17-4. Overall, they're 21-4. And then Colby sitting there at 4th place with a 13-8 conference record. Overall, 17-8. So this is a big game for both teams. As Colby is sitting 4 games back from Hutchinson from 3rd place. And Coffeyville sitting 1 game back from Barton. And to mention, Coffeyville plays at Barton February 24th. So Coffeyville continue this 9-game winning streak till up that point. They could potentially knock off Barton and then be tied for first place.
And that would be huge. But no surprise, as Coach Herkelman was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Marshall over to Hill. Excuse me.
5 on the shot clock.
And Jones trying to work his way in. That was.
Oh.
And it is in. Juan Marshall. And he gets a good reaction out of the crowd tonight. Dalton. Oh, and that was a sloppy pass right there to Gabriel.
Juan Marshall with 7 points, and that was the biggest shot of tonight so far by Quan Marshall. Hit that 3 to bring it to an 11-point lead, and this is probably Division I basketball. They're going to go back and look at that, but there's no replay in JUCO basketball. It was really close to the shot clock ending.
Jones working his way inside. Passes it off to Benton and just off the rim.
And Benton is so good at getting into the body of the defenders and then using that Euro step to get him a little bit of space. And then usually he just draws enough contact to get to the free throw line and shoot free throws, and need to make this to bring it to a 12-point lead.
And he does make it. Makes the second one. Boadian driving down court, and Dalton now has the ball in his hands. Low pass. That could result in a turnover, and that was on the right side. Quan Marshall's second foul. Have Hall at the line. Hall has been consistent tonight. As last time he was at the line, he did not make the first, but he made the second, and he does not make this one. And he does make the second one, though. So same as the first time. And Jones signaling for his teammates to gather around. Marshall scanning his options. Great pass. And just not able to get it in. Boadian works his way inside, does get the basket. Jones with that speed down court. Benton loses it. It's turnover. This looks like it might be and it is in for the Trojans.
Xavier Smith been struggling with foul trouble. He's got 4 fouls. And he's got 4 points. And they cut this to a 7-point deficit. 3:05 left. As Coffeyville takes the timeout. I believe they got 2 left down the stretch. And one thing I kind of harped on, Coffeyville's keys to the game, and I said points off the bench because they got 33 points off the bench at Neosho. They already got 22 points off the bench, and they've had all sorts of foul trouble, so Herkelman digging deep into his depth of his lineup. And one guy that's been hot when Coffeyville hasn't, Anthony Jones, as he's got 12 points here tonight off the bench, and Quan Marshall hit a big shot to make it an 11-point game just about 2 minutes ago, and he's got 7 points. And so the bench production for Coffeyville has been there. And they're only up by 7, and Trojans on a little run here.
Washington. And Queen with a dunk. That was nice. And Xavier unable to make that happen for the Trojans. Benton. Benton taking his time. Marshall unable to connect for offensive rebound. And another offensive rebound. Washington. Washington working his way inside. And that is a turnover. And Dalton was upset about that. It's not, yeah. I'm just doing it for practice. And Washington makes his first. And he makes the second one. And Boydian over to Hall. And that could have been and that is a costly turnover. And Benton makes it. What a change of events right there. Foolish mistake by Hall. Yeah. And Benton is at the line.
No.
Oh. Wait, I'm confused.
And a foul. And Anthony Jones. Okay.
Jones second.
See David Hall go to the free throw line.
And Hall makes his first.
So he gets the first, 81-68. And it'd be a tough climb for Colby to get back in this ball game.
And Hall makes his second. And Benton working his way down half court. And he almost loses it. Great pass to Washington.
So we'll see Coffeyville drain some clock. It's 10 on the shot clock, and they'll still have to try and get something to go. Oh, nice move. Reverse layup.
And unable.
And Keon Quinn attacking the basket, and he'll have some free throws come in. Free throws for both teams have really been a struggle.
Oh, and that should have been a call, and it wasn't. Waiting on.
Yeah, the refs really missed that travel, but it didn't really matter in the end. And probably a good foul on Keon Queen as he just missed 2 free throws, or made 1 of the 2, but not a very good free throw shooter going back to the line. But 13-point deficit at 48 seconds. Going to be a tough climb for Colby. And we'll likely see Coffeyville head to 10 straight. And then they'll have to go on a long road trip at Garden City, February 17th. And then they'll be back home February 21st at Butler. Or home Butler, I mean, like I said. And then they'll travel the 24th of February at Barton with a much-needed win if Coffeyville were to come away with that victory.
And Dalton over to Somerville, and Somerville nails it.
3-pointers good by Somerville.
And this is...
And that's the last timeout for Colby, with 30 seconds left in the second half.
30-second timeout, Colby.
But you're talking about an unbelievable streak the Red Ravens have been on. 10-game winning streak for the Red Ravens, and you're talking about beating the teams like Hutchinson in this winning streak, and they beat Cali, a top team in the conference, and then adding to it would be Colby, and they beat Independence also under this winning streak. And you can also talk about Marvin Johnson having an incredible streak as he's put up a ton of points. But here tonight, he's struggled. Only 12 points, but like I said, Marvin Johnson put up 28 points last game against Neosho, put up 19 points against Seward, 31 against Pratt, 21 against Cloud, but had his struggles here tonight, only putting up 12, and here's Anthony Jones at the line.
Somerville, they're able to get the basket. And it is good. And he nails the second one. Benton has definitely dominated at the line.
Casey Benton with 9 points.
Fast speed. And that's nailed by Dalton.
So I made a mistake. Colby, this is their final timeout. Ty Dalton will finish with 18 points. David Hall will finish with 8. They still got 18 seconds, though. Could make something out of it. Somerville's got 6, not counting those 3-pointers, so 9. So let's give Herkelman a chance to set up a play out of the timeout. Give some practice to get the inbounds the ball against a tough defense.
And Jones with the speed.
And a good job by Herkelman drawing up a play that wastes a lot of times. It wastes 4 seconds off the clock. And that's a lot of time when you're trying to foul and get the ball back and try and go back and score. Anthony Jones with 12 points.
And Jones makes both. And Dalton trying to work his way inside. He steps out of bounds. And Dalton makes it. And Washington makes his first. And he makes the second. And your final is Ravens 89, Colby 79. Both teams played a great hard game. This is McKenna Coppachee alongside Logan Mance. Have a great weekend.